Okay, class. So we've basically been drawing, and then after we're drawing, we're just deleting everything. Haven't really talked about how we go backwards yet. So I'm just going to talk about that, and then I'm going to move on to curved lines. So if I was clicking around and drawing lines, if I was to hit the delete key, it's going to take it one step back. If I hit the delete key again, it's going to delete the whole thing. So if I wanted to go back, say 3 steps, the best way to do that is just to simply go Control Z until you're back there. So if I went click, click, and if I clicked all around, if I go Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, it'll take me back one step at a time. Okay, so just try to remember that, otherwise you might end up deleting your whole shape. Okay, so now we're going to move on to curved lines. So I'm just going to show you something, and then I'm just going to kind of let you play around a little bit, and I'll talk with you guys in our next class. So basically what it comes down to this. With the pen tool, if you can draw this, if you can draw like that, and then if you can also draw shapes like this, so if I was going to draw all these little shark fins sort of things, if you can draw hills like this, and if you can draw shapes that look like shark fins, you can pretty much draw anything. So once you can do this and you can do that, then trying to basically draw any type of shape, you'll be able to do that with the Bezier pen. So I'm just going to show you briefly what the Bezier pen is and how we kind of work with it. So I'm just going to select everything, and then I'm just going to delete it and talk about the pen. So to this point, we've been clicking, letting go of the mouse, and clicking. So now to draw a curved line, what we're going to do is we're going to click, hold down the mouse, and then we're going to drag. Okay? Now when we drag out a curve, we're dragging out these little handlebars here, and I explain how they work. So if I let go right now, basically what happens is there's an anchor point here and an anchor point here. The handlebar on this side of the anchor point affects the curve from there to there. The handlebar on that's on this side of that anchor point is going to affect the next line that comes out. So if I was to click here and then click down here, this handlebar is going to affect the way that that line gets drawn. Essentially what you need to think of is with these handlebars is these little dots on the end, you need to think of them as magnets. And so basically what happens is that magnet is going to pull the line towards it before it goes to that point. So right now, if I was going to click about right here, you're going to see the line is going to first of all get pulled towards the magnet before it comes back to where I'm clicking. So I'm just going to show that right now. Okay? So you see that it went towards the magnet and then came to the point. Now because I let go of the mouse, this is actually a corner anchor point. Okay, so when I click again, it's just going to come straight off that. If I click and hold down, I'm drawing a smooth anchor point. And again, what I'm going to do is I drag out those handlebars, and you can see what's actually happening. So on one side of the line, where behind me, you can see that this line gets pulled towards that magnet, and then this one right here is actually going to pull the next line. So if I was to click up here, you would see the line go towards the magnet and then up here. If I'm to click down here, you're going to see it get pulled towards the magnet and then end up down here. So I'm just going to click down here. Okay, and because I clicked and dragged, you see I pulled out 2 more handlebars. And again, so there's the direction that the handlebar goes. And so I'm going to now click over here. I pull out my handlebars. And you can see if I click down here one more time, that line's going to go towards that magnet and then back down towards here. Okay. So I'm going to hit enter. So basically all I want you to do just to kind of finish the class is just see if you can draw something. You know, maybe just try to follow a shape and just kind of play around with this pen. It takes a little bit to get used to and what's actually happening. Maybe like draw like the letter S or draw the letter G. Just something that's going to kind of force you to think about how that curve's actually going to go. The next part, in order to make everything work, you basically have to make a modification as you draw, and that's simply by holding the Alt key, and that was the shark fin. So if I clicked here, if I click here and drag, if I hold the Alt key, it kind of locks the handlebar on one side and allows me to move the magnet on the other side. So then I can now draw in that direction. So finish the class, play around with it for a little bit, and then I will see you in our next class. If after you play around with it for a couple minutes, you're free to play some games.